We're back, baby. My hair is wet. The waves are here. I just got out of the pond. Sven, you with me?
I am. I'm lurking in the bushes.
All right, we're down a host today. We have a friend, one of our three amigos, caught a little cold with all the cooties that have been floating around the year. And yeah, Kenny's just not going to be with us this week, unfortunately.
We do have, I
Ooh.
see the ghost of Cassandra and I can hear something. So maybe we need a spirit board.
Ooh.
What they
Ooh.
say to the Ouija board this week?
Try playing the Ouija board, and you just might find out who I am.
I should have written it down. What did they say to the Ouija board? Hey, Ken.
Hey
Give me a
guys.
second.
Glad you could make it with us.
Yes, yes.
Make it with
Glad
us. Be
you're
here with
here,
us.
here with us.
Whew.
And
My
for
teacher
Sven.
brain. All cylinders aren't firing up today. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be hard.
It's only Tuesday.
I know, but it feels like a Friday already. Okay,
All right.
let's go. Let's get into it. First thing that I need to acknowledge and say this out loud so that I can continue to correct myself. Why do I keep referring to Elliot as a Landry? I think last week I made my name Elliot Landry.
You did.
Kelly Landry.
Kelly at Landry.
I it's in here. He's Landry.
But it came across as a fangirl that loves Elliot and you mixed it with your name. So I think it worked.
There we go. That
But
was my thinking.
yeah,
Absolutely. But I keep
Funny.
saying
you do.
Landry. Landry.
He's just such a
Stop.
part of the Landry family, man.
I gotta stop.
Maybe there's something there that you're not telling us. A theory, maybe.
You know something that we don't know?
I'll let you know when it comes to surface. Okay, so we get into this episode. I have the first thing that stuck out to me in this episode was that the girls, Alice and Kat, are just fully on board. They should be in our recap pod video meeting talking about the theories that they have because they completely match with ours. They're just openly talking about like, okay, Colin's a time traveler, check. Casey's a time traveler, check. They
Which,
start discussing this.
thank you for bringing that up because that jumps right into my first theory of the day.
Okay.
So Kat and what's her daughter's name? Oh, no, Alice. They were filmed by Jasper, and they were both shying away from the camera because
Oh
they
yeah.
know they're time travelers. They don't want to be on film, right?
Yeah.
So they were arguing quite loudly about their theories and about Evelyn, is she a time traveler, and this and that. And Jasper comes over and tells them to chill out. This is an event for this. We're not here to listen to you guys argue. Did
Mm-hmm.
he catch that argument on film? Is it in the background? And then where are all his materials, his archives? Did they end up with Evelyn and she saw this footage at some point in the future?
She
I mean, where can that go? Did he record them talking about time traveling? And does Evelyn have that as an adult, as part of the archives? Maybe that she donated to the newspaper and maybe Casey saw them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot to open up there. But first big theory right off the
That's a
bat.
quick rabbit hole to get into within
Yeah.
the 2 minutes of the episode. I love it.
So
Right?
What I would not have picked up on that at all. Thank you, Sven.
you are
Yeah.
welcome.
That's good. That's
I'm
good.
sorry, Thomas the
I
smuggler.
thought I'd smuggle that in.
Oh, Smuggler Thomas. Okay, I did not notice that one. Yeah, speaking of Thomas, I mean, totally switching the topic, but you must be so thrilled.
I am very
The
excited.
guy made an appearance.
Yep. Like I said,
Almost
lurking
as
from
thrilled
the
as Cat was to
bushes.
see Susanna.
Yeah. We won't get into spoilers or trailers for next week, but all of you, if you get a chance to watch the episode and watch the trailers at the end for scenes for next week.
I did not because my recording cuts off too
No, it does.
soon.
Yeah, and then like
So
when
maybe I do need a preview for next week recap before we wrap this up
I
today.
think you might be able to Google that and just watch
Okay.
the trailer
Okay.
thing.
I'll
But
do that.
There's some good stuff in there.
Okay, so while we're at Coils, we get to hear another performance from Colton.
Ten.
And as you listen to the lyrics of this song, you can't help but wonder, like, what's the message here? Are we saying goodbye to Evie? Are you singing an ode to the pond? What's the musician passion behind the words that you're singing, Colton?
Colton is singing directly to Dell, but I believe he's singing the words written by Thomas, is what how I took it. That's
There
also why
was such a
Kat was
theme
just
of
like,
goodbye there.
"What's that?"
I thought there was such a theme of goodbye in that song.
Maybe I'm confusing it with the one at the birthday party, but I'd have to
Yeah.
listen to it again.
Ooh, the birthday
My
party was
apologies,
the
everyone.
cry for help.
Yeah,
It-
that
yeah, the first song was all about like fare thee well, right? Fare thee well,
Hmm.
Catherine, and we're
yeah.
guided by time and water and
So once again,
their
the
separation.
right.
Ah,
Oh, you know what? I got that confused. I'm sorry. That first song that he sang, because he sang "Hooked on a Feeling."
Okay, yeah. I
Yeah,
couldn't
and he
think
was
of what
singing
the first
that to
song was.
Dell.
That
Then
there
was
he
we go.
went into "Fare Thee Well." You're right.
yeah,
Okay.
Dell.
But like obvious,
Okay.
Look out,
obvious
Dell. I
hint,
think it's coming for you tonight.
Mm-hmm.
obvious hints to like what we know about the pond and the tribe time traveling. And so if those lyrics are Colton's, again, what do you know? And if they aren't Colton's, who wrote it?
I think Thomas did. He's a poet.
That's what I thought too. And then I was surprised, like the whole song book when they talked about Susanna's the song or whatever later on. And I was like, can all these people just write songs? Are they that like poetic and they're each
Right.
just writing a song?
Well, and remember Plot Link Jasper. That's his new name, Plot Link.
Oh, I want to call him Obi-Wan Jasper or like
Pretty
he's
much.
Jedi Knight,
Yeah,
everybody in this whole
right.
season.
He
Yeah.
throws it out there, but the reason for the songs is that the history is
Mm.
recorded in the arts in the songs,
Yes.
and holds up that
History is
book
the
for
artwork
$1.50.
of the
But
time.
I don't know about you guys, but Jasper needs more screen time. I really like that guy.
1,000%. And
He's
more
just so,
credit.
You just like the Coil
I
family
think you
line.
do, but
He's a
yeah.
coil man.
But there's something about him. He's just kind of just happy-go-lucky in there, He's
Yeah.
But
that
then the
typical
bearer of
70s.
all knowledge.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say his character is so informative for us because he's not there because we're friends with him. He's there to give
no,
us the clues and the details and the things that no one else can tell us. So he's quite valuable.
Jasper Plot Link. There's another plot link I've discovered, and I'll tell you when we get there. Another
Okay.
character, but um, yeah, I gotta think it was Thomas writing to Catherine in that song,
For
Mm.
sure.
and then so I don't know if Colton was really directing that to anybody other than to get Kat's guile up a little bit, like what, that was for me,
Mm.
Hmm.
you know,
Just a song he liked, thought it was cool.
right. I think it's just giving Kat an excuse to pine again over Thomas and forget Elliot.
Which she is looking for at every opportunity.
Oh yeah.
She is. I am
You
so
guys,
disappointed in her.
Yeah.
there is something brewing in her
Also,
birth chart or something. There is a season of something that is lighting her soul on fire.
Yeah. And it's not Elliot.
It's not
but
Elliot.
it's also Elliot though, because those two are just so steamy all the time. They had their scenes again in this episode. So it's like both
But
both
it's so driven
sides.
by Elliot. And like this episode, I like jotted
Yeah.
down in my notes, like his love is aggressive.
Yeah.
I
I
have to have you know. Bleh.
I
Yeah.
think
And he said something like, me and Kat have been doing other things these days.
What?
Couldn't
you know
all that.
what?
It's
You
like,
know what they've been doing.
Cool.
Moje
stop.
Moje.
But also, is it like forced between them? Because they're like,
I have a
Elliot's
good
trying to make
point.
sure that she has something we're staying with. She's trying to convince herself that yes, it's Elliot. Feels
Exactly.
very
I
performative.
thought exactly. She's really forcing it, trying to convince herself that this is the steamy relationship they wanted, and I think he was into it more than she was from the beginning. And so she's just really forcing that.
Hmm.
And it kind of comes out a little different later on when she thinks about traveling back, which is another thing we'll get to. I don't
Hmm.
understand that whole travel back. Like I
Looking for
thought
any
I
opportunity,
thought
man.
they're treating it now like we need to go to 1800s, so we're just going to jump in the pond and it'll take us there. How do they know? The last time she's jumped in, she's gone to 1974.
Hmm.
Now
Right.
she's just going to magically go to
I
wherever she.
know. Can you become like a master of the pond and you have more power of it if you just put the intention of I'm going to this time? It'll like send you there because she's gone so many times.
It could. I
Because
mean,
I was thinking that too when her and Jacob went in, and I was just like,
Or now are they jumping in like with the intention versus like, let's see where we go?
right,
mm,
yeah.
You know,
yeah,
I don't know. I
We
noticed
have
that.
noticed that they said that the rules of the pond, when they write them in, that's what they are. That's what they're going to
Hmm.
stick with. But we have noticed they've changed because remember, Elliot at first said only Landry's can go, and he ended up going. Maybe
yeah.
Hmm.
that's why you
That's
think
funny.
he's a Landry. But that's changed. Other things have changed. And maybe you can go forward now. Maybe Colton broke the rule. Remember, he's a rule breaker.
Oh my
Or they
gosh,
burn.
that.
So maybe you can go forward now. Maybe you can go where you want. I don't know.
Speaking of which, perfect segue. We see Grandma Fern again, who again makes me very uncomfortable, the poor dear. But she
Hmm.
could not be any sassier with the way she snatched that book and was like, gotta see it.
Yeah.
Right.
She gives me the opposite feelings of Jasper does, how I was saying how he's such a valuable character. Like he's not that involved, but he's so helpful. She's like not so involved and so not helpful. Like she just makes things more complicated. Like, why are you
Mhm.
here? First episode she was in, I was like, oh, okay, answers. No, just more confusion.
A lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, a cryptic statement. How do you throw this statement out there? I told you he isn't. I was worried that he was, and the brother, but I'm not now. What?
Yeah.
I mean, that's her exact quote. Like,
What?
what? I mean, then she goes on to say, there's enough to worry about him, or to worry about with Cole as it is. He's a rule breaker.
Right. It's like
Any more
why?
cryptic? Come on.
He seems like kind of not like a goody
What
two
is
shoes.
that foreshadowing for us?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we do have questions about still that thing that he said to Evie, I think, at the pond a few episodes ago, where he was like, if you did something
What
really
if you
bad.
did something terrible?
Or, yeah. So there's like still this mystery in the air, and then jumping to the Ouija board scene where like the ghost flew the thing at him. It just we are getting more of like ooh, a target on him as oh, he's not this like perfect, lovely little kid or this wonderful man or something. I
Mm.
don't know, but
There's
what
some
is
suspicion brewing for sure.
no, just putting the suspicion around Colton right now with his teenage self
He
possibly
was
having
very against doing anything with that spirit board.
did
Yeah.
not like the spirit board, but some people just don't. I'm the type of person who likes it, but some people don't, so I get it. Also, it did get
But
kind of creepy and they dragged someone in instantly. Was it Cassandra? Was it Rick? Who was that? Like,
wait,
what?
but who is Cassandra?
It's just, it was so, that was another thing. I'm getting a little frustrated that they keep bringing in all these characters and it just, or like these new things. I'm just like, why? Cassandra, who is this? Just to tie the name in to Casey. Um, but all Evie said was like, oh, it's an ancestor who we think lived in this attic. But I'm like, why? Where is this coming from? And
Right.
why randomly? And then why would she, if that's the spirit they called on, have this thing for Colton targeting him in this scenario? Didn't make
Mm-hmm.
so it's just another one of those. Here's this new thing we're bringing to you, and you have no answers or context or anything around
You
it. So
don't know what to do with it.
Right.
yeah,
I gotta believe that she's just throwing that, like you said, the name Cassandra out to link to Casey,
Yeah.
right? But we've also got to believe that the person locked in the attic was Susanna. She finds the painting hidden in the wall. We figured, remember, Susanna had it.
Locked or had a hidden stash of her life before she got hitched to Cyrus.
Well,
Mm.
it's in Cyrus's house.
But is it like her treasure chest and like her chosen hiding
She picked
place,
that
or
place
was she
where she was
locked up?
forced
You
to
know
go.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That either one are
Well,
interesting because I didn't even think about that. Like the things I don't piece together that seem so obvious or so silly. But yeah, with her secret painting hidden in that little door, that duh.
well, bum bum
That
bum. Theory
was-
time. What if Susanna was locked up there because of the no summer, the volcano eruption, and they thought it was witches? And if she starts talking to Kat and Jacob again or sees them, maybe what's his name? Who'd she marry? Cyrus.
Cyrus.
That maybe he thinks she has something to do with it and she's a witch, so he locks her up there because she's a witch. He doesn't want to burn her at the stake because he married her and he obviously likes the girl. So he puts her up there to keep her either
Mm.
safe from the townspeople or away from him because he's afraid of her. You know, that's just a theory I have.
I
That's
got a theory with Susanna, and I'm going to hold on to it until we get to the song at Dell's birthday party.
Okay.
oh, can't wait
Okay,
for
Um,
but let's
go ahead.
touch real quick on the spirit board that the ghost of Cassandra brought up. Um,
it.
did you catch when Evie says she thinks it's Cassandra or the ghost is, whoever was locked up there, so she calls her Cassandra, and she says she might know the founding fathers and they should ask her. And Colton snapped, no, so quick and so firm. Like,
Mm.
what doesn't he want them to know? Is it because he was one of them or he knows them, he was raised by them? I mean, what doesn't he want them to
What
know
are
about
you
him?
hiding?
Yeah.
And and then I thought for a second, why would any of them even believe in a spirit board and that it works? Unless they haven't already witnessed some kind of magical thing like with the pond or the White Witch or
Mm.
something.
Well, Spirit Board seems very on brand for Evie.
Oh,
Yeah.
very. But still, the getting the rest of them to buy into it that fast,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But the way he just snapped at that so fast, there's something
But
in.
also, and then the way that the piece lunged at him.
Oh yeah, really. When it said blame and then threw it at
Huh?
him.
Mm-hmm. So
So here's,
okay.
wait, real quick. Here's my theory on that. I'm not putting the theory marks up. Uh, what if Colton was slapped in the water and he told Alice it didn't work? But what if it did? What if he went back and tried to stop Rick, ran into the road like somebody else did,
And pulled a cat.
and pulled a cat,
His
and he
what
swerved to miss him and
hard
caused the
head.
crash? What if that's the blame?
And then what did Colton say to Kat when she was there when he died? Didn't he say something to her at his
Mm.
crash?
He did. I don't remember what that was. I have to
Right?
go back and watch it. Yeah. So what if that's where the blame is?
Dang.
Okay, because we were curious, like, how could he have a role in this when we know where he was when it was happening? But it could be his
Right.
brother.
And by
Ooh.
him telling Alice it didn't work, I couldn't travel back, was the way he didn't have to own up to what he did. That he did go back and he did cause it roundabout. You know what I mean? I don't know.
But
Something to think about.
Yeah.
back, did he say it didn't work? I couldn't go back, or did he just say it didn't work?
He said he couldn't go back. He couldn't
Okay.
time travel, and that Fern stories are just stories. Like
Okay.
throw Alice off the scent. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Okay. So we jump back to present time. And everybody's significant other of present, past, and future is at Dell's birthday party.
Ugh. Also, can I just say
Including
something?
new girl,
Emma,
Emma.
that okay. There's just so much about this episode that was just bothering me. Like, don't bring all these extra characters in. I don't get me wrong, love the show, love the episode, but just so many people popping in. I was like, just go away. And also, why does it have to be Dell's birthday?
I thought it was super endearing to watch the boys like setting up for the party. I thought that
Loved
was
it.
so
Jacob,
cute.
Kind of
Elliot, and
razzing
Brady
him.
together was so cute. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is what the show needs. The three boys getting together and being nice.
Was
Every
it a
time
coincidence that Brady was there?
what's that?
Was it a coincidence that Brady was there, or did he intentionally come for Dell's
He
birthday?
essentially
He
came
was
for the birthday.
invited.
Okay.
I also want to give a shout out. I know like you guys maybe have never really liked Brady as a kid or anything, just kind of like slimy, but I love him. I like he's not perfect, but like as a dad in this weird situation, A plus 100%. I
I
love him.
I really like adult Brady.
Season
Yeah,
3 Brady is
Teenage
fantastic.
Brady,
he's a little focused on the
nope.
goals and stuff,
Yep.
but
But
he
yeah,
means so well and like
he
letting the
gets
mom and daughter do their thing all the time. It's like,
he gets a
Also,
little
like
over
checking Cat as needed.
yeah.
mhm.
He gets a little overreaching with the whole Alice and the 5-year plan.
Yeah.
But my quick theory on that, which we can mention now, is he had a 5-year plan. They got pregnant, him and Kat, and it derailed all of that. And
Yeah.
maybe he's pushing this 5-year plan with Alice and doesn't want her with a boyfriend because he doesn't want to see the same thing happen.
Prevent that.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that right there, also, even though I didn't really like how he handled that, I thought, dude, come on, she's 17. She's still in high school, and you're planning out her life. But he's coming from a place of experience and of what
Totally.
happened.
Hmm.
I can excuse him of that. But yeah, definitely adult Brady when he was making fun of the name of the winery that Jacob's gonna work for.
Good wins, good wine.
Yeah,
Come on.
that was fantastic. And
Um,
then Jacob throws out. I think you were going to say it, weren't you?
no, I wasn't. Go ahead.
When Elliot and Brady are talking about things, when he said, "Well, Kat didn't tell me that," and he goes, "Well," Brady goes, "I guess she doesn't tell you everything," and Elliot says, "Well, we were busy doing other things," and then Jacob steps in and goes, "Men would duel for less than that in my time," and Brady's like, "Wait, what?"
What?
I didn't hear that. I
Oh
was up
yeah,
on the Elliot line. I was like, you gotta be kidding. Stop talking
yeah.
about
No,
this.
Hey, calm down.
Jacob throws out the dual line in his time, he says, and Elliot says, his generation, like just brushing that off. But
That's
well,
funny.
Jacob's letting it slip again, but
I mean, go ahead
that
and
scene was well done.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And then connecting with that, I know this comes a little bit later when we think about the party, but I really like Noah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
there's
he's a dear. And the more that Max Goodwin keeps popping up, the more I'm just like, don't
right.
don't let us know that this is actually what's coming. Don't let us know that my theory from who knows when is absolutely correct. I don't want it. I don't want Max.
I don't
Yeah.
know if they're making it too obvious with that, giving us that theory. We all
Mhm.
we all stumbled on that same theory, and it's like, are they just leading us down that path on purpose?
Yeah, they're spelling it out right now with that
Mhm.
Yeah.
whole
And
Especially when
Noah,
she was like, "Are you sure you don't know anyone named Casey?" And he was like, "I mean, Cassandra's a family name."
right.
And it's like, ugh.
And it's
yeah, I'm not
I think
believing it yet.
Ghost Cassandra and I talked about this too. Is like, how swarmy. Who says to another 17 or 18-year-old, you know, make this a done deal. She's marriage material.
That
What?
was sick.
Who thinks
That was
about marriage at that age? I
disgusting.
do like how Alice responded, like, that's a bit degrading.
Yeah,
That
go
was nice. But they're really throwing this out there, like just putting this marriage idea into our heads, and these two, and that he likes
And
her.
also forcing Max into the plot line.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know? Yeah, just
And
like,
But
Noah's starting to feel like a placeholder right now.
Yeah, but it just, I don't know, it doesn't feel like the show and like how they do things because I often, even as much as I study this show, feel so surprised by the thing that happens. And I'm like, wait, I didn't see that coming. So that it feels so forced feels wrong. Like it's
Mhm.
leading us down this direction, but it's not how it's going to go. I don't know. If that's just because that's how I want it to be because I haven't. I have not wanted to believe the whole time that Alice and Max, whatever, get together and have Casey as a kid. I have hated that idea. And then seeing him, I think he's not nasty, but it's like, ew, why? Like
Remember the line Kat threw out when she saw him?
No.
When she said, "Ooh, he looks like Casey."
the eyes and
Yeah,
stuff.
like
Yeah, like they're just like
they're really throwing that out there.
spelling it out way too much
But
that it's so
again,
weird.
there are so many loose ends
They have to
and
tie
roads
things
that lead
up.
to nowhere at
Right,
this point. Somebody's got to bring us home on
Yeah,
one of the roads, you
right.
know?
but I don't know. It's just strange. And like Casey is nowhere to be seen, right? We haven't seen them in a while. So I don't know. It's just weird. And I'm trying not to focus too much on it. I will say, though, that I like Noah surprisingly. And the way, I don't know, he's been with Alice has been pretty nice.
Fun
So
fact,
long live him.
real quick, fun fact about Noah.
Okay.
So, a couple of the actors in a recent interview had said, I said this to you a couple episodes ago about Noah looking like Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Like they resemble each other. A couple of the actors have said in an interview a couple times on set, they get them confused because they look so much alike.
I saw it so much
This
this episode. Kendra and
episode.
I
Like when
both
he was
said that.
standing next to him at the point, so much. But it's so funny
Yeah,
that,
their nose.
I mean, everybody sees it, but then even the actors themselves get them confused. So
That's
that was kind
funny.
of funny. Okay,
Yeah.
back.
If he wasn't so tall, they
Yeah.
could have been like the adult child versions
Mhm.
of each
Yeah.
other. Because I
He
didn't
looks
feel
more
like the
like the
young
teen
Brady looked that.
version than the actual teen version did
Yeah, yeah, the teen version of Brady didn't look
as
that
much.
much
No.
like him.
But
But
fun
that's
fact.
Okay.
funny.
So the boys are endearing. Elliot's a bit cringy. Love them all. Our other guest at the party,
Damn.
Emma.
Oh, Emma.
Oh, Emma, I was like, Sam's back too. Just
We've got
more
I've got some Sam comments, but we'll get to there.
okay.
Well, let's do the Sam comments
Emma.
because the Emma ones are going to take a minute.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, just Sam isn't real long in this one. So
Hmm.
Sam comes back, and right, of course, when he gets back, the papers are delivered to Dell that gives Jacob basically life certificate back. They undeclared him dead, which is great. Good for him. He can. I think this was just a moment to show he can move on with his life. You
Yeah.
know, just another one of the passing things. He's turning over new things. He's gonna. He tells him at the party, you know, he accepted the job at the Goodwins for the
Oh,
winery.
and
Uh,
Dell had the nerve to say, "Are you sure?"
You put the thought in my head, mama.
yeah, no kidding. What do you mean? Are you sure? You went with me for the interview, remember? Anyways, so
Forced him to do it.
perfect timing. You know, that shows up right then. Jacob walks in. The only thing that really got me about that was when Jacob walks in, he says to Sam, "It's good to see you." And he pauses and he says, "Here." Was he just being smart alecky because he sees them in the house and they're public now, or
Ooh.
they're not hiding in the loft, which he knew about, which was creepy enough? Or is there something hidden behind that because he knows them from somewhere else? I don't know.
Good question.
But real quick to end Sam for me for this week, I feel like I've gotten him wrong where I said he was pulling the Lewis strings. To me,
Mm.
he looks like another plot link. Like he's pushing the story along. He links things together, gives
Yeah.
Dell a distraction. He's
Yeah.
able to question Dell, and the things he questions her, she
Felt
talks about and it
suspicious.
fills in some plot holes for us.
Mm-hmm.
Like why she doesn't
Okay.
like her birthday and blah blah blah. You know, things like
That that's helpful to hear because that's what I've been really hoping for. I like to just kind of be ignorant to the plot lines or whatever that I don't want to be a thing. So I've been telling myself like Sam Bishop is not bad. He's not evil. He's fine. He's just like a nudge to open Dell up a little bit more or like do something. And like kind of like maybe like Noah, just there's a little reason, but not a big one. So that's nice to hear because the whole evil thing, I was like, oh, it's getting too deep and too many people are, I don't know. So
I still don't trust him.
yeah, I don't
Yeah, I'm
know
not 100%,
fully.
but I
He
really get a
seemed
Jasper
good.
vibe.
Okay, he seemed good in this episode
Yeah.
though. Like there wasn't anything concerning. Like he was
The
there for good purpose
the only
throughout.
thing that made the hair stand up was when he was kind of grilling Dell about the argument she had with Alice, and
Mm-hmm.
he asks her, "Why did you tell her to stay out of your memories?"
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That
what's he
felt
digging
fishy.
for? Or is he just really confused and concerned?
I
No.
was glad that he asked that because I too am wondering why why Dell? Like anyone who's gonna question Dell is on my team, on my side, and I welcome it. So I didn't think it was weird, but I think if I had walked in, overheard that conversation of Dell making Alice cry, which I'll talk about more later because I have a lot of thoughts. Um, I'd be like, dude, what was happening? And like ask something, but I don't know. Stay out of my memories. Like,
Oh.
share them then. Like,
Okay,
I don't know.
hold on to it, Ken.
Okay.
Okay, we have to start talking about Emma.
Emma, yeah.
Yes.
I feel like Emma is the closest thing to a stereotypical Hallmark character that we've seen in this show so far.
She
Yeah.
feels very traditional
And you
Hallmark.
guys, you can black out my screen right now if you want, but that's probably why I actually enjoyed her. The
Don't not
face.
Maybe
like
the
I
her.
love the
reaction
face. The
thing.
faces. Because I'm so over the cat pushing on Elliot bit. She's forcing this relationship so hard. And Emma comes back. Did you see Elliot light up when Emma walked in?
Oh, instant shift.
It wasn't just, oh, hi, I'm gonna be nice to you. He couldn't hold it back.
But
And I
also
don't know if Kat
recap
caught that or not. I think later she does, but
recap of that whole introduction. First of all, she comes walking up the path
like
like
she
she just
owned the
walked
place.
in off from the bus stop or something, and I was like, Hallmark.
Yeah.
Um, then she's just like, oh, all I had was this address to remember you by. Again, another Hallmark strike or point for Hallmark.
We need a Google map of this town and these locations.
Mm-hmm. And then just like waltzes in. Oh, I talked to Vic. Vic told me you'd be here.
Oh, Vic called me.
That's it. And it's just like, I needed to start recapping everything that I knew about them. And I was like, okay, hold on. Why did these two ever split? Because clearly there's unfinished business here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We did get some continuity though, because remember when Vic came looking for the ring, he said he called Emma.
Oh,
And
Like,
and Elliot's like, you what? You called her? Blah blah, you know. So there is some continuity.
okay.
You didn't
you're
just pull that
right.
out of a hat. It did
Okay, that's
happen.
good.
And
That's
it
good.
happened before the ring went missing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I took that as he called her after the ring went missing and was going to ask her if, you know, if he could talk Elliot into giving it to him or something. Like he wasn't really the one who took it. That
Yeah.
was back to that theory. Remember we had that theory somebody else took it.
I
But now
forgot about
thinking
the whole
back,
ring thing.
Vic did call her before all
Yeah.
that happened. So, okay, go on.
Obviously, like so much unfinished business. You can see Elliot's instant excitement and just like attraction still to her. Whatever like realm that be in. But like the more, where am I going with this? The longer she sticks around, the longer it's obvious she's not going anywhere anytime soon, right?
No, no, not at all.
Yeah. I I don't know. It was nice to hear a little bit more about them and like how Elliot, we've talked a bit more about like before his life before all of this and how I had it in my head that he just grew up in the house, bought it from his dad after going whatever, being in college and like only lived in that house.
Yeah.
Like this even more brought it to my attention that no, he has lived somewhere else too, found love somewhere else, and like not all of that happened in this house. So that was really nice to hear at least. But yeah, I don't know. I'm frustrated that she's here because I I don't know, seeing the previews for upcoming episodes or whatever, it looks like she and Elliot kiss. So then I wonder like, oh,
Spoiler alert.
I didn't see that.
oh, you didn't? Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that's okay. Tell me the things.
I mean, if anyone's watching this podcast, I'm assuming you're very in depth with the plot line and everything.
And
So
have
this is not
seen the
to be
trailer for next week.
yes.
Well,
Um,
Friday.
but so I feel like my first thought was, oh, they're introducing this Elliot Emma plot line to balance out the Kat and Thomas reconnecting and kind of justifying it so that it's equal on both sides. So it's not once again Kat's being bad and finding secret love and whatnot.
Totally.
But the whole proposal thing felt so forced and weird and
Mm.
not like that. So I'm curious what the thoughts are about that.
I took, okay, obviously his like knee-jerk reaction into doing it and just like no build up to it whatsoever was like, come on, man, do better. But it's like the second you said like it was nice to see Elliot did go out and live a life and did this. But he was always like treading water because he knew what was going to happen. And
Mhm.
like the second like the biggest thing that he did for himself was propose to Emma like on his own accord and like make his own path and like steer off the like predetermined plan that he knew was already going to happen was when he thought, okay, well that's not going to happen. Like Cat's right there with I almost just said Noah. Cat's right there with Brady. They're good. I'm doing my own thing. Get off on this
Uh,
exit. Pose bada bing bada boom. And it's like
Right.
only got that like total like moment of freedom to make his own decisions
mhm.
when he thought he finally like officially lost Cat and like this isn't coming back for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree.
That's yeah. Yeah. It just felt so weird. I was like, oh, how
Yeah.
convenient. They're in the same spot out in Vancouver and
That was
aw. It just
that
forced.
was that was a stretch.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, but then like why did you guys get separated?
Yeah, we
Like
haven't learned that yet.
waiting out and
Like,
knew
have
like the
we?
timeline was happening?
Yeah.
I remember
No.
he just kind of said he knew it wasn't going to work because he knew he was going to return back there because it was already told to him he was going to be back there living alone, being a school
Oh.
teacher. Alice already told him all that. So he knew it was going to happen. So he just
Got back
facilitated it
on.
basically, said, "All right, this is what I'm going to do because this
Mhm.
is what I do. I know this happens."
Interesting. Well, I guess we'll see what happens if their little kiss scene is something real
Right.
or it's
I mean, maybe Emma comes in and starts playing some music. I don't know.
Don't even get me started with
Can
that
we
because
talk
that
about
was the
that?
cherry on top of her cringy Sunday.
That was the
Damn.
most the violence. The violence. I was
You,
I did not
hey,
like that scene at all.
we make a quick note here. Who's the violin player in this group? Evelyn.
Kathleen.
Oh, I should have gotten that out for today.
Should have.
Yeah, you gotta start acting these parts.
Okay, but perfect segue. Despite how cringy that whole let me play for you all. Oh, Alice, honey, come and sing with me. There was purpose there.
The weirdest part, can we
Right.
also talk about how Elliot just glanced at the sheet music and was like, okay,
That
got
you
it.
mean?
And then ran to the piano and was like, doom, 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 doom. And I was like, do we know that he plays the piano? It was just,
But it was found in his piano bench in his house, wasn't it?
oh, was it? I thought it was figured it was Colton's found at the,
No, it's at Elliot's house.
okay.
That's where the
So
party
that
was.
was like a tune from his youth. It could have, you know what I mean?
At least I think that's where the party was. I didn't remember him having that. Remember that step that Dell was on when she said that line about Jacob, are you sure you should take that job? I didn't think
There.
Elliot had that step and everything, but they were
I don't know.
unloading everything at
Elliot's.
Elliot's, maybe just to keep the
Whoa.
surprise alive.
Mhm. I
And
don't
then
Okay.
know
they
why I
brought the
assumed it
stuff
was
over.
Elliot's piano bench though. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Yeah.
Let's
I
check
didn't
that.
think anything.
But
Okay.
the lyrics of that song, I think it's what sparks up the whole decision to type in 1812 or whatever year it is for Jacob and Kat. And they're like, we got to go back to the 1800s. Because,
16.
18,
yes, thank you.
Year of Darkness, or
Okay, that was crazy. And I want to Google that and learn more about Did that happen?
Yes.
Crazy.
Yep.
Also,
whoa.
what volcano
Um, some people
blew
online
up close enough
looked
to
that up, and I forget what it
Canada?
was, but it was an actual thing,
Okay.
and it actually did happen. Um, but back then, obviously, like they mentioned in the show, they don't have the internet, they don't have news, they don't have blah 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 in 1816. So nobody knew what it was. Of course, my God, it's got to be a witch.
Hmm.
No.
So there's definitely like in that there's like the thing that struck me the most was like, yeah, we got like there's no sun. All this stuff happened. Like no crops, no this, no that. We think it's the witches. The line that stuck out to me the most, and again, I only watched this once, so it could have potentially been more detailed had I watched it a second time. They said something about someone was hung at the stakes or whatever, but in the morning the noose hung alone. Like they brought someone to be hung, but then like when everyone came back, they're gone. And that like was the moment that like Kat and Jacob were like, they're like, oh my God, it is Susanna. And then they're like, did they appoint themselves like we gotta go get her from the noose. If she's the witch that they're all coming for casting the shadow in the sky, that's our cue to like go get her.
Mm-hmm.
I might be reaching.
Okay, yes, you're right. I did have a
And
theory on that.
so I thought that part was like the moment that Kat and Jacob were like, it is Susanna.
Right. So now
We
the
have to
the
go save
thought,
her. We have to be the ones who take her out of the noose.
the theory is they go back, right? And Susanna sees them, Thomas sees them. Eventually, what if Cyrus sees them? And what if they catch Cat? If you see, I don't,
Mm.
spoiler alert, in the previews for next week, they show her dancing and Thomas sees her and they start dancing. Like they're across from each other. She's wearing the White Witch outfit again. What if she's the one that gets hung?
She would.
Jasper brings her down, they jump back in the pond and disappear. I mean, that's my theory or thinking is that it could be Cat that gets hung. She
Yeah.
jumps in the pond and disappears, and that's why Thomas writes a song about it.
Dang. Okay.
So, yeah, you're right. I did have a theory,
Oh
a
my
thought on that, but
Good. That was
that's
good.
what I was thinking is that, yeah, not Susanna, it's Cat.
Okay.
Because they disappeared at that point. Susanna wouldn't disappear unless she goes in the pond and she comes back to now, which I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to happen, especially for Jacob, because I have a deep theory on Jacob.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
You guys want it now?
might as well.
It jumps to the conversation with him and Brady. Remember when and Brady says to
Like
to
his
Jacob, "I'm
apology.
sorry. I was supposed to watch you as a
Oh,
child."
that was so sweet.
And Jacob's
Mhm.
like, "I never blamed you." And he says, "Are we good?" And he shakes his hand and he basically Jacob says, "I want to start a new life." He goes, "A new chapter. I want to find love. A love." He never said a wife. And the marriage of convenience with Susanna, where Jacob really wasn't in it other than to save Susanna. I think Jacob is gay.
Oh my gosh, another potential.
Yeah. I mean, really, I really see that for him for not coming out and saying, I'm looking for a wife and blah, blah, blah. He just
Yeah.
says a love. And he wasn't, you could tell the Susanna thing. He loved her because, he wanted to take care of her and help her.
Different kind of love.
But yeah, exactly. And he kind of hinted to that. It was a different kind of love to Kat at one point earlier on in the season than when they were talking about her. So I think that's where we're going to see him going,
Interesting.
which I think would open up a huge, really cool storyline for him. But
Yeah.
I think that's where we're at. Just that's
Dang.
my big Jacob theory for the week.
Okay.
Take it for what you
Okay.
will.
Before we wrap up the party time, Kenny, your moment has come.
You know what? It's so built
It's
up.
time to talk about the birthday girl.
I don't even have anything to say because I've been here week after week. It's like give her the benefit of the doubt, whatever. But she just keeps making it harder and harder to cheer for her. I will say when she showed up for the spirit board upstairs and she was just sweet, walked in like, hello, if you're playing, I'll play or whatever. And there's no reason to dislike her. So I said, okay, get over this. Like, okay, maybe she's not my type of character. She's not doing anything wrong. Let her be. And then it just had to be her birthday in real time. And of course, she hates her birthday. And the reason why she hated her birthday didn't even make any sense. What she told Sam to me, I was like, huh? It's just all a mystery. And she's just like still playing on this. Oh, my life. It's just so hard and difficult. It's been so difficult and blah, blah, blah. But I won't tell anybody anything about
I
it.
won't tell any of y'all anything to get close to me and
Yeah.
understand.
So it's just so hard to have some empathy for her at this point when she's just kind of like milking these situations, but not letting anybody in. It's just nearly impossible. And all I can say is if you make Alice cry,
There it
sweet
is.
Alice, you are done. Like she did nothing wrong. Like she was poking a little, like when she said stuff about Evie, but like, why is that such a problem? And every time Alice said one thing, you could see Dell interpreting it into a question of like, so you're blah 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 blah, so you're blah 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 blah, and it's like,
Mm.
no, like what is your problem here? So that's why I did appreciate Sam asking Dell later on, what did you mean by getting out of her
Stay out of
memory?
my memories.
Or whatever. Yeah. Because I was like, thank you. Can we revisit this? Because you've made Alice cry for no reason. And she also said something rude again about Kat in the episode. But I can't remember what it was, but just one of those
Yeah.
things again, like, oh, well, Kat's off, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, serious?
What
Like,
are you so
if
mad
you're
about?
going to open your heart up to Sam Bishop and act like this is some kind of new love for you, open your heart up to your kids and your grandkid and whatever else first. Because I'm almost done with her. I'll give
What
her another week, but
can we get conspiratorial about Dell? What did she tell Sam why she didn't like her birthday?
She said I left Evie's on my birthday and went back home.
Right.
The home that I went back to wasn't it anymore. It was all different. There was no love. And that's it.
but was
No,
she
there was
originally coming from the home of love? It didn't seem like that because when she gets to Evie's house, she's a big old grumpy mess. Like,
I mean, but they were going through the business drama,
mm-hmm.
but she also throws in that conversation this like proclamation that she made like a selfish choice.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
if Alice ever finds out about
right.
this, she'll
Yeah,
be
that's what it was.
She'll
ashamed.
think less of her or something. Yeah, so she's definitely guarded in saying these things. So she feels exposed, not ready to tell any of these secrets or whatever. Thinking again about those letters and whoever's sending them, the secret that we still don't know about. Um,
All of our pregnancy theories.
but like they're gonna find out. They're traveling, they're talking to Evie, like all these things, young Colin, and she just doesn't care because she's so concerned about them finding something out. But wouldn't you rather have like them hear it from you rather than
Right? She has an opportunity to get a completely different perspective on Evie from that time.
yeah.
And instead, it's just like,
Or even like if she doesn't want to tell the secrets, acknowledge that people are time traveling and meeting you as a younger person, your friends as younger people. I think that's the hang up. Like, she doesn't have to expose herself if she's uncomfortable. Do whatever you want. But just her like dismissiveness about the pond still.
Right.
Finn the dog, still a thing for me. Like, you don't care your dog's 100 years old. Like that. It's
We
like
we
all
haven't seen
like
Finn in a
so
while.
concerning.
He's off filming his own show. Don't worry. He'll be back.
Okay. But yeah, that's my biggest thing. Like she's just not acknowledging it when it's such clearly such a huge part of everyone's life and like
Aggressively avoiding it.
brought back your son and like yeah, connecting everyone like but she's just being disconnected from it. Just validate them in some way.
Rather than take every opportunity you have to remind everyone, like, I'm not talking about this.
Yeah, and negatively talking about Kat all the time when she has done everything for your family. Like that's my hang
Wow.
up, Ben. Get it
Yeah.
a little, yeah.
Yeah. Birthday diva.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
had to be her birthday too. And of course she hates her birthday. Like at least love it. Then I'd be like, oh, okay, fuck.
The only outburst
Okay, but
I
that's it. That's it right there. Case in point. Like the showcase of my burdens, my hurt, my baggage that I'm holding on to from my past. I don't want to talk about it, but y'all are gonna know. It's there.
Hmm.
right.
It
Yeah.
ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about it, but you're going to know why I'm in this mood and making this face at you all. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but can we talk about her snap? The one that I kind of thought she's totally in the right.
Ooh.
When Kat jumped up and took that songbook
Oh,
out of Alice's hands and
that
stopped the song, and Dell's like, "Kat, what are you doing?"
that
Like,
was the thing I
You're
wanted.
ruining my birthday, so I'm gonna hate it next year
When
too.
she says it to Alice later, she's like, I'm sorry, your mother took the songbook and interrupted your performance. And I was like, one, don't do that to the granddaughter and like say that bad thing about the
it's
mom
like
or
pitting them against each other.
Mhm.
whatever. But then like, who was into that performance? I sure wasn't. Alice sounded great, but I was just like, I don't care. This is weird.
Comfortable. This is a
Is
song you're
it?
singing to
Hello,
me on my
Elliot
birthday?
was. He was
And
just.
Elliot was like, God, I love this song.
I'm playing this
Let me
by
play my
ear.
keys for my woman.
I'm showing everybody that me and Emma should be together.
We are musically in love.
Mitch,
I was like,
can we?
thank you, Kat, for doing that. Like, who was everyone? I'm sure felt weird.
Yeah, everybody I'm
Lana.
sure was
Poor
a little.
Brady.
Just inviting Emma to
No
that
one
party was too much.
Noah and Brady were like side by side on that couch next to Rita. And that's when I knew I was like, this scene needs to end. This is getting weird. So I
I
didn't think it was that bad, but I don't know.
So weird.
Of
I
course,
have
call it out.
a big theory coming up with the Emma Elliott thing, just as a way to introduce something. My name change.
Ooh, I love Nick.
Nick is coming
Why
back.
is he texting him?
He is coming back, people.
So random.
I hope so. If
Oh, spoiler. Watch the trailer.
as long as it's
Is he in
not
it?
awkward with Alice and Nick, that was a weird thing. I don't know why you just pretended to shoot us like we're right.
No, that was like because she
Like bingo,
Kelly
you got
asked,
it.
is he coming back?
Bingo.
And I'm like, or is he
Okay.
in the trailer?
I was like, Thomas Coyle? Am I coming out to the
Oh,
pond and
no,
I'm getting
it
shot?
wasn't a gun. It was a, you're right.
Okay. Um, yeah. I love Nick. Nick's one of my favorite characters, as long as it's not awkward with him and Alice, because he did come back, but then it was like, I kind of want him to go because it's not the time. This feels kind of weird right now. So,
I
um,
I think when he comes back, I don't think it'll be a Nick and Alice thing so much.
yeah,
If
it'll
it
just
is, it'll be a friendship thing, knowing they both understand the difference in the age and the awkwardness. I
John.
think they're both good with that. So I think we're going to move beyond that. I
Did
think it's
Nick?
going to be more him kind of with the Elliot Emma Cat drama
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
all that.
I think
Because
so.
his text, when he was texting him, He was just, Elle, what's going on? Elle, you all right? What's going on? Why is she there? Have you talked to her? What's going on? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And he never responded. And like it showed on his phone, it was like over 3 days, and Elliot never responded. And I
Mhm.
think that's gonna bring Nick back. Like he's gonna come back and go, dude, you never responded. What is going on?
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's
And
gonna be
he's a
that
good
type of thing.
anchor for their drama. Like he has a good perspective when he comes into
Yeah.
like Elliot and Kat stuff. So,
Right.
okay. And did he, when he left, wasn't he getting back with his girlfriend or is there someone named Claire? Is that
Yeah,
and
he was going to
so maybe
try and
they'll
like
be together?
commit to Claire.
Okay, because that would make it less weird for
Yeah.
and then Alice is like, oh, I got a boyfriend too. At least it's not like they're still in
All is right in the world.
that space still or something. I don't know, but that would be fun to see him come back.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
so
I
we go from the birthday party to the first day of school for Alice.
oh yeah. Huh. What
Um,
does she run into?
Max.
I just don't care.
My whole thing from that scene was trying to read her face. What dots is she connecting? Because the
So
second he said, well, Cassandra's like a family name, but like that's all I got. I don't know
I
Casey and
think
just like
she's
walks
she's
away.
connecting that. I think she looked at his face and his eyes like Kat pointed out. She's remembering the marriage comment made to Noah. I think all those things just hit her all at once. And she's realizing, hey, this guy is the same age as me. We're going to be in school together. He's going to be around. Look out.
I don't want it. I
Yeah.
don't want it at all. So I think, okay, maybe I'm still hung up on the Alice and Nick relationship because I love those two
Mm.
as youngsters.
Oh,
They're
Nick.
so sweet and fun, easy. So like Noah's great too, but he's just like a little old and I'm just suspicious. So like thinking of now Max being who she not ends up with, but has a significant moment of life with, don't want it. Don't
Let's
want
wait and
it.
see.
So I don't know. I'm really hoping for a different storyline for these characters than what we've been thinking for like several weeks now, I feel like, but who knows? I
TBD.
want something different.
We go off for a family jump into the pond to celebrate Alice's first day of school, and we get some bombs dropped in the last
Yes.
15 seconds of that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I thought it was sweet. Kat and um Jacob jumping into the pond. MVP goes to Jacob for me, in case we don't cover that at the end. Very bold and brave of him to go back into
Yeah.
the pond after all that trauma it caused him and then reface it yet again. So that's all I have to say so far on this section. So take it away.
I like that. Yeah, like crazy, but we kind of like thought already, and like I feel like this had been thrown out that Susanna and Cyrus get married. We saw that happen. Susanna definitely had the whole like I don't have a choice kind of perspective of it all.
Right.
Um, we see Kat's very confused reaction to it all. Is
Yeah.
it fury because of what he's responsible for doing to her brother? Is it jealousy because she wishes it was her? Like,
Yeah. Almost or like disappointment that she wasn't was
that
pushed
too.
away and couldn't stop it herself because had she been there, she totally would have prevented it. I'm also curious, like, what because I know they talked about it in season two, but what was the reasoning for Susanna and Cyrus being married? Because there's no compatibility. Is it like Cyrus almost ownership over
I was
Susanna or
gonna say
something?
it's 1800s, Kendra. Compatibility's bottom of the
Not a thing, but like
hierarchy.
she's
Right.
seen as like a witch and like she's almost feared. Why
Mm.
do you want to marry her? Or like why her? There are other women. It's not like there are four people in this town, right? Like it's still somewhat of
No,
a small town.
from what we know, it's
It
just
seems
the
like there are
Landry,
just
the
three
Augustines, and the
people,
Goodwins, so you can't marry your cousin, but they did, I
right?
think, back then.
But apparently, yeah.
Fool
So
me more.
I don't know. I'm curious, like, yeah. And like whatever he says goes. You have to go along with it. If he's like,
Yeah.
Suzanne, I want to marry you. So she's like, fine, okay. Unless I have someone else in line, I have
Mhm.
to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a man of power and I get what I want.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
type of thing.
she was also supposed to be married to Jacob. He captured Jacob and lost him as a prisoner. Is that revenge?
Mm.
You
Right.
know?
And Jacob leaving and this marriage not going through, didn't they know that was going to happen? Like Susanna was going to Cyrus.
Good question.
That kind of seemed obvious, but yeah, I guess it,
Well, yeah, they could have known, but like Jacob said, he had to or he would have died. So you really didn't have much choice.
yeah. But I want to talk about also Susanna's face when she saw Jacob
And
and Kat.
no, notice they only show the eye contact between her and Kat. She didn't even look at Jacob. Or
Okay.
like they didn't show us her
Yeah, she's like,
focusing
this
on
could be
Jacob,
us
just between her and Kat,
playing.
which also goes back to the marriage of convenience. Seems like she would have went, Jacob, but no, she didn't even the focus wasn't that. At least
Mm-hmm.
they didn't show us. But we did get
Ooh, you
from the
guys.
bushes, Chris Holden Reed is back.
With the same glowy filter that Colton had when we saw him creeping in the bushes. There was a
Mm,
glow to his face that felt very similar to the weird lighting that Colton had on his face when we found out that he time travels.
Right. Oh, I didn't pick up on that. Nice. I was just
okay.
looking at the camera filter they were using to make it look like the no summer of 1918.
Maybe that's what it was.
I
But there
thought there
was
was
a
a
glow.
haze in the whole, yeah, every shot had like an overlay.
Yeah, so Thomas is there, but in the scenes for next week, for this Friday, there is a really quick clip of him reaching out his hand and grabbing Susanna or across from Susanna in a dance. So he's physically there. He's there with them.
Okay.
Okay. And is
Which,
he in any kind of hiding or something? He was in the bushes, but where is
Also,
he?
isn't he supposed to be dead?
Yeah.
not
Fake
yet,
his
Friends
dead.
with anyone. Do
not
they
yet,
know
'cause yeah, he was supposed to be dead by Cyrus,
he
right?
was shot, played dead, or whatever?
So maybe they'll write into that story that he came back and told Cyrus he wasn't and admitted to some wrongdoing and that Jacob was
Or they're
behind it
just
all
gonna
and Jacob's
haunt
gone.
they're gonna haunt the crap out of Cyrus. Like you thought you could get rid of us, but all three of us are here.
Right.
Ooh.
I
And the
still want
ghost
to
of
get that.
Cassandra is going to come out too. Do you think we'll meet Cassandra
Or
if
find
we're
out how
going
that crew creates a
back?
Cassandra.
Yeah, yeah, whoever this person is.
Maybe.
There
Love
has
that.
to
Hopefully.
be some kind of link if she was just brought up.
Right.
All
Let's
right, what
hope.
are we hoping to see next week? That's a good question.
My biggest one is what happened with Thomas? How is he there? Does Cyrus know he's there? Because he looks like he's out in public, sort of. So what's going on with that? How is he out and about?
Mm-hmm.
That's my big one.
For me, I feel like I'd never really get my wish of trying to understand Dell more and see her as just have my empathy for her. So I'm not going to wish for it this week. I'm kind of done. I'm closing the door. Our relationship is done for now. And I just want Kat and Elliot to make the biggest mess out of their love lives. And I want Kat and Thomas to be weird and obsessive. And I want Emma and Elliot to be weird. And I just want to see it all get
Want it
messy.
all.
Can I hit on that real quick?
Yeah.
This was also part of my theory earlier. With Kat, did you notice how she was forced in a relationship? We already talked about that, right? With Elliot. Like she's macking on him, jumping on him on the couch, and come on, let's do, yeah, exactly. All
Build
of
it
that.
up. or
But
whatever.
then if you noticed towards the end of the episode or as the episode went on, she started, oh, Emma's really nice. Oh, I like her. She seems like a great person, blah, blah, blah. Is she pushing Elliot towards Emma because she knows herself, her mind is pushing towards Thomas? So it'll make her feel
Also her dreams.
right. Oh,
In her
that
dream.
fussiness. But
Yeah.
it'll make her feel a little less guilty if Elliot's also kind of
Ooh. Yeah,
backing of his own.
that makes sense. I figured the writers did that intentionally. So in the future, maybe there could be a repair once they get over this weird hump and their other friends that they're making out with. But I never thought about it from Kat's perspective. Like, oh, maybe if she pushes that. Because that was kind of weird where she was just like, this is weird. And then all of a sudden she said, you want to come
Emma,
to
come to the
the party?
party.
Yeah.
Mhm. I was like, oh, I guess she's just trying to be nice and stuff. But I bet she's thinking stuff because she's not over that Thomas boy. And we all know she's also there for Susanna. So,
Well,
I hope, Kenny, I'm going to take the opposite of your stance on Dell. I hope we get some kind of answer about Dell next week. I hope that like this whole
the
play of
family time.
like her birthday angst came to a climax like this week and like now it's like okay, but like we have to give these people
Finally,
something
yeah,
about you.
right.
Especially if we think about like what are we going to get to? It's going to be episode 6 now. Like we're going to be in like the second half of the season. You
yeah,
got to start tying some things together.
yep. All right.
With all of the loose ends that we have right now. So hopefully
Uh-huh.
something about Dell next week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you're wishing for it, then I'm sure you'll get it. If I wish for it, it's not gonna
It's not
happen.
going to happen.
I'm also curious if we're going into the 1800s, will it be less of the 70s and like where that is all gonna go? Because I'm just stuck. Me, Evie, and Alice are BFFs, so I don't want us to split up, but
I
whatever.
just want to know what is the connection between like why do we have to have the 1800s and the 70s plot lines
All at
exist
once.
together in this season?
Yeah.
Explain that to
I,
us soon, please.
the only thing I can think there is that Kat doesn't have enough to do in the 70s.
Her and
Mm.
Jasper could start dating.
And so, who?
Her and Jasper could start dating.
It seems natural.
She's always got to find
Jasper
someone.
knows she's too much drama for him.
He can see it. She
He
knows
called
too much about the history. Kind of freaks him out a little bit. He's a little weirded.
Well,
Which brings me real quick to my 3 shout outs for the week. Eli Ham, who plays Jasper. He's just always there with the information, the plot links, that camera scene. Wait till that's got to come back.
mm.
Terry James as Nick, those texts, 3 days in a row, texting his friend, what's going on? He didn't just drop it. He's a good friend.
Yeah.
He's a good friend. He needs to be there. And Chris Holden Reed as Thomas. Nobody can lurk in the bushes like him.
with a
Mm-mm.
glowing haze.
Yeah. So
I second the
he's
Jasper
coming back.
MVP for sure.
So
Also, another random thought, Lewis has kind of disappeared, right?
yeah,
We haven't seen him
Yeah.
in a while. Where'd he go? Just
Mm.
he's off buying wine and
burns
passing it off.
popping in and out.
He's buying wine at Trader Joe's to resale at his vineyard.
Yep.
He's got to
Like,
stock that winery somehow.
Two
yeah.
buck chucks, baby.
So many things to just keep in our heads for a later time. But it's just like taking what we can get every episode, I feel
Got
like.
it. All right. Well,
Note.
we did not keep this short.
We
Mm-mm.
didn't try so hard.
Never have, never will.
Not until we start scripting. Well, I don't want to do that.
So much to talk about, so little time.
Right. So,
That
shout
note.
out to if anybody out there has made it to the end of this, thank you. That was a lot. Your troopers, really.
Put in the comments, who would you put in your Mount Rushmore of
Top
characters?
3.
Top 3.
Your Mount Rushmore
Your
character.
Mount Rushmore of characters. Who's it going to be? All right. Countdown begins until episode 6.
Woo!
Later.
Bye.
Bye.